ream package unit. Yeah, we're running a second opinion. Ooh, I think their note said it was running a 58 over 195 and had a 10-degree delta T. We're going to hook up to it and confirm. It may be exactly as they stated. See what kind of pressures we get. Got a 62 over 248. I'd like to get a superheat and subcooling on that. Could be a TXV problem. That's off. Or I can disconnect my thermostat wires and kind of run it from the outside. The suction line and back to the compressor in here is not frozen, but we're getting some of this water right here coming from under there. So that coil, which is going to be a booger, I might be able to get in there with these bushes in the way, but definitely running an awkward refrigerant charge right there. But they said they had 198. I've got 200, basically 250. It's about 75. We could have a TXV problem. So let me get this coil door off over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a leak search on this coil while I have this door open, and then I'm gonna put my temperature probes in here, get my superheat and subcooling with that charge, and just confirm we don't have a TXV problem. I mean, as you can see, this coil is rusted up pretty good, so we may find a leak in here. Let's see what we can find. Alright, so now I'm on the other side. I'm going to check this coil from over here. You can see things rusted pretty good around some places and back over there on the other side. I wouldn't doubt that there's a small leak in here somewhere. I didn't find anything on the other side. And then their kid standing right over the porch behind me with his feet dangling. Like I want to smell his smelly feet behind my head, and the bush poking me in the back. But anyway, I'm gonna look around in here, see if I can come up with something. Then I'm gonna put my temperature probes in there on the other side, on the suction line and the liquid line, and I'm gonna do a leak, check to see if there's a TXV problem, which I can always add a little refrigerant to it. See that water beading off right there on that one? Yep, here we go. See, there's water beading right there because there's oil residue on that coil. And I was picking up a little something. See if I can pinpoint this. But that pipe right there has got some oil residue on it, and that's why that water is beading. So let's see if I can pinpoint this thing. So I'm getting something right in here, and I'm not pinpointing exactly where. Zero it. Something right back there. Bring it out. Zero it. I'm getting little hints, but it's going to be a small. Here we go again, right there. That same spot. So I know I've got a small leak in here. As badly as this thing's rusted, I am surprised. I mean, it is a copper coil. It's not aluminum. So it's the original coil, 12 years old. If it was aluminum coil, I'd be out here at about 12 days old or 12 months old with it already leaking. And it'd probably have a micro channel or something in it. But see, I know I'm getting something right back over there. So, I mean, this thing's in pretty bad shape. I want to check that TXV and see how it's operating. Because, I mean, I don't think these coils come with TXVs on them already, but between those two things, out of warranty. I mean, it's not worth going to all this trouble just to do a coil and a TXV in this thing and then turn around and the compressor go out. Condenser coil leak. I found the condenser coils in these units leaking before too. But anyway, let's see what that superheating subcooling looked like. Alright guys, you can see I've got my temperature probes in here. One's on the suction line back there, and I got one on my liquid line. I'm gonna put this door back on. We're gonna run this thing, see how well these pick up through the equipment. They do great from the attic to the outside, but we'll see how they do with all this metal in between. Alright guys, so I got my jumper king hooked up. Get a bag of these jumpers and make a jumper king yourself. Put all your wires together right there and just, anyway, they've got this load management box over here. They live in the great town of Apex. If you live in the city limits, it's mandatory to have that thing on, so when it's hot and you need your air conditioning to be on, they can turn your air conditioning off when the load gets too high for 20 minutes at a time, anytime they want. Then your blower runs the whole time. The compressor shuts off because they break Y with it, and then by the time the compressor comes back on, it's starting from scratch all over again. Does nothing for your efficiency. This thing's got a lot of rust in it too, so I'm gonna see how this TXV's operating, but I'm gonna guess we're looking at the original heat exchanger, and there's a good chance there might be a crack in that too. I'm guessing the other company might not have checked that. Maybe they did, I don't know. Got this bush here, so I might have to slide that blower out, but I may check that as well, see if we're dealing with a crack in our heat exchanger and a coil / TXV problem. Definitely, if both those things are an issue, this system needs to be replaced. And that's what I hate about these ring package units. That's junk. So to make something all these years, that I know somebody said they design it to drain the water out of that box. Put a drain tube or a hole or something over here and let it come to a fitting on the side of the unit and drain out all that rust these things produce. The burners rust all to pieces, at least the older style burners. These not so much, but that's just a junky design. I wouldn't be a Rheem dealer for anything in the world, because Rheem sucks. Anyway, let's get this thing on. And we'll see what that TXV is doing with these pressures. Let it run for about 10 minutes. Alright, so we've been on for about 10 minutes. 60 and 249. We got basically a 64 superheat and a 0 subcool, so definitely low on charge right there. I mean, they had a 195. I don't know if their gauges were calibrated or not. They got a 251. That coil's probably never been cleaned. But anyway, let's check the heat exchanger before we recommend replacing a coil. Alright, so we got the blower out. And this heat exchanger is looking fine. I've checked it. Stainless. It's may have been replaced at some point. Sometimes you get companies that'll do that and put the old collector box back on when you really should do both of those at the same time. But and there's some oil residue right there on this pipe. See that on my finger? So definitely got a leak in this coil. So anyway, we'll get them an estimate, a quote on replacing this coil. And at 12 years old, is it a 4012? So yeah, it's 12 years old. And we'll get them an estimate on replacing the system as well. Let them make the decision on what they want to do. Give them the options and put the onus on them. I'd replace it though. 12 years old. Not worth the repair.